so here we have I Heart New York from Baby Audio, a New York style parallel compressor plugin. So first off, let's just hear it real quick so we can hear what it does. So here we have Superior Drummer 3 right now. I Heart New York is completely bypassed. So let's hear that. So that's our dry signal. It's got lots of good dynamics in there. So now we'll go ahead and turn this on. Turn the output down for now. So essentially what this knob does here, the Spank Knob, is your overall gain reduction or compression, essentially, that you're doing right here. So you can see this level over here. You pull it up, it's more compressed. This slider right here controls the amount of the parallel signal that you're going to blend in. All right, let me turn this down. So that's the really compressed signal that we would be blending in to our dry signal. Okay. And of course the output, which is the overall output that we use to compensate for any volume differences that we need to compensate for. Now right here is a solo button, and what this allows us to do is essentially use this as a standard compressor. So when an audio signal goes into I Heart in Y, it gets split. So we have a dry signal and then our parallel signal, which then essentially is running through our compressor, and we're compressing or reducing the overall dynamic range to make it more punchy, make it more powerful, make it sound even larger, and we're blending that in. A lot of times with parallel compression, you'll over compress and then blend in that amount. Now, usually you'd have to do something like this here, where we're sending out these audio tracks down to an aux and then putting a compressor on that aux and then blending it in on our track. But with I Heart New York, that bus is built in, so you don't have to do any routing or anything like that. All right, so let's go ahead and hear what this sounds like. Let me take that solo off because we want the parallel compression here. So again, bypassed. Go ahead and pull in the parallel compression. Go ahead and compress it here and blend in the amount of that compression. There we go. Just the output volume. There we go. So now it's much more powerful. It's hitting a lot harder there. You'll hear this on drums a lot. So here in this section here is some toms. And instead of just compressing the entire signal, we're going to have that dry dynamic sound still, but then pull in this parallel compression, and we're going to end up making these toms sound much larger because we're reducing the overall dynamic range and we're pulling up everything overall. So we're going to get more room tone in there as well, which is going to make this sound even larger. You can just dial in the amount you want. That's a bit too much. There we go. Now it's hitting a lot harder there. So you bypass it. Sounds fine bypassed, but pull it back in. Hitting a lot harder, a lot more power now. So if I was going to do this without I Heart New York, we can do it. You can do it in any DAW. So here we have a kick, snare, tom, cymbal, ambient mic right here. So just those. Completely dry. So I've created a send on all of those tracks and put them down here into this aux track. And then I have my compressor on this track. It's overly compressed, as you can see. And then we blend in this amount on this aux track right here with our volume level. So let's check that out. Go ahead and blend it in. There we go. Getting more of that power in there now. Hitting a lot harder. But I could do the same thing without any of the routing at all, right? I can just do it with I Heart New York. So we'll just take the aux track and this compressor completely out of the chain. And instead, I'm going to put I Heart New York directly on my master here. All right. So it's right on the master. No weird routing, just the same exact tracks. Again, bypass it. That's the original track. Throw in the parallel compression with this one plugin. No routing at all. Boom, right there. It's a lot harder now. Cuts through. Of course, you don't have to use it on full mixes or full tracks or even full groups. You can use it on individual tracks. Just a snare, just a clap, just a kick. Or again, mix down, subgroups, whatever you want to use it on that might, something that might need some more power, some more girth to it. Let's check it out on some more sources. Make sure I bypass this one that's on our master. Okay. So here's a loop right here. Again, bypassed for now. All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and pop it on now. Turn that spank down, turn it up. How much are we compressing that? Turn the output down. So you can hear we're really compressing it there. So I don't want to compress it that much. That's pretty good there. So we'll blend that amount in, then compensate with our output volume here. Bypass it. Right. Just sounds larger now, more powerful. All right. What about down here? So we have a bass, we have a clap, we have a kick, and a synth. All right, so it sounds all right, but I want to use iHeart New York. I want to use parallel compression, this time just on my clap. So instead of having to set up multiple tracks and routing everything, nope, don't need to do that. Throw iHeart New York on there, just on the clap track in this case. Pop that in. We're going to spank it pretty good here. Pull in that parallel compressed sound. And now take a listen to it. Pops out a lot better now. Still have some dynamics, of course, but blending in that compressed sound. Again, just adjust it to taste. So bypass it. Back on. Right. So the reason why we use parallel compression instead of just like a standard compressor is, again, sometimes you want to keep the dynamics of something, but blend in a more compressed sound to raise that overall, the power, the girth, the spank, as they might call it in some places. What do we have here? We have the orchestra right there, and iHeart New York is bypassed right now. All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and pull in our parallel compression so we still have dynamics, but we're gonna really pull in some more power. Now, sort of subtle here, but you'll definitely hear it once I bypass it. Ready? So now it's bypassed. All right, so let's come back here. Turn it on. So as you can hear, I didn't over compress it here. I didn't pull in a giant amount of that. I'm just sort of making it sound a bit more powerful and a bit larger by pulling in a bit of that parallel signal. I'm not compressing it in, too much really, and adjusting my volume just a little bit there. Again, bypassed. Back on. All right, so that is iHeart New York from Baby Audio, a parallel compressor with that bus built in, so no weird routing, nothing that you have to do. Just throw it on there, throw it on all kinds of different sources, from guitar to bass to, of course, groups, subgroups, vocals, pretty much, whatever you want. So if you want to pick it up, you can always head over to the Baby Audio website and get it there, hear more samples, and you can also pick it up at pluginboutique.com. So this is iHeart New York parallel compression from Baby Audio.